Hello, let's talk about Warhammer 10th edition. What is good, what is bad, what could they made better for 11th edition. A lot of people start talking about 11th edition, so that's probably an interesting topic. Yes, but my points, the motto from 10th edition was simpler but not simple, and my important keynotes is free rules. Was one list building changed much. The unit data sheet was changed. Weapon abilities, in my opinion, a good idea. Free Wargear, we'll talk about them. Search terms and updates. That's the points. First, free rules. When they started the edition, they released all rules for free, and that was, in my opinion, a very good idea because it was easy to start a new faction, to look in a new faction. Then you need some new models, have to buy some new models. In my opinion, this was a very good idea. Sadly, they changed this, but from the beginning on, they said that you got free rules, free index rules until we released the codex. So this was clear from the beginning. A lot of people complained about this, but yes, because the Blip Circle betray us or they lie to us, but they didn't. They tell us from the beginning on that the rules won't be free forever. And the app is free, but you can only build one army. That's a little bit not very useful in my opinion. And a lot of people went to other apps. And if you pay for the app, you don't get all the rules for armies who get codexes. So you just have to buy the codex for the key to see all your units in your app. That's a little bit stupid in my opinion. Even if you make the app subscription a little bit more expensive and then you can see all the units, would be a nice idea. Or sell just the keys for the app. For example, I don't buy the Tyranids or the Necrons or the Chaos Space Marines. But if you can get a key for 20 euros, I would probably bought all of them because I play a lot of games against them just to know what they can do. And that's, in my opinion, very helpful for me. Yes, or they could do more with this app and just sell the keys. And of course, if you have the app and you build lists for other armies, you go, I need probably a few more models, and you buy the few more models. I would probably build a whole Chaos Space Marine army, but then I have to buy the codex. And was then a point for me where I said, no, I don't look in this army anymore. Next topic is list building. List building become much easier in 10th edition. You have just to pick a detachment, and then you select one character. You need one character for your army, and then you have battle line units where you can take 6 of each unit and 3 of each of all other units, and that might be much easier than the rules before, we do have to pick a platoon and have some units are elite and some units are another character. And on the other side, this makes something a little bit strange. For example, some armies have their tank unit is one unit with 2 weapons. The other army have the similar. The Chaos, for example, the Sisters have one. The Castigator tank with 2 weapon options, and the Chaos Space Marines have 2 Castigators with 1 weapon option, so they can field 6 tanks, and the Sisters can only field 1 kind of tank. And the Astra Militarum, because all Limras have different profiles, can take a whole army of tanks. Yes, but it's might be much easier than before. Something I really like is the data sheets are much more easy to read. I had my first games with end of 9th edition after I built the KDR Standbox with the old codex. With the 9th edition codex from the 9th edition codex, and I have a lot of problem with this. For example, how much attacks I have. These are these numbers here. Now attacks number, you can see it clearly. How much attacks I have for my melee weapon? That's the attacks for the infantryman. That's the attack for the officer, and because they have a chainsaw, you get 1 extra attack. Okay. Attacks easy to see, very good. What's the strength of these attacks? The strength for the unit profile. Just hard to read. They were, in my opinion, very hard to read. And next question, okay, you can equip this unit with a plasma and a grenade launcher. Then you have to go back in the book where the whole weapons list is and look, where is my grenade launcher, where is my plasma launcher, and yes, it's make it very, very hard to read. And here, at least for the most units, you have all the weapons here. And of course, if the unit have a whole arsenal of weapons themselves, then if you have not enough space to fit all your weapons on, yes, okay, then you have to look somewhere else. But this is much better than this data sheets from the first 9th edition. Similar thing with, for example, Liam Ross tank. You have this different gun profiles, and you have always this turret weapons, because turret weapons, not all weapons of the tank was turret weapons. So for example, your Sponson weapon have if you are melee, your turret weapons still work, your Sponson weapon don't work, or your Sponson weapons have another ballistic skill if they move. I don't play this, I ignore this rule all in my few games of 9th edition, so I probably made some mistakes there. Yes, that was, in my opinion, very confusing. And now it's much easier to see the weapons profiles. Or you have different damage levels. Just was probably not bad, but yes. Another thing, what I really like about 10th edition are the weapon abilities. For example, this was the ability from the Acadians. This. And now it's just one keyword. For example, in this case, they have lead sustained hits. And now you have just, this weapon have sustained hits. And yes, you know what the weapon can do, and you don't have to read a whole text. That's, in my opinion, make it very, very easy. I would like if they improve, if they expand on this and make more of these key weapon abilities, unit abilities. For example, some units can retreat and attack again, or some units can fight on death or something. There's a lot of similar things, but similar units can do, or this jumping ability. I can remove my unit from the board and put it back on another place. That would be one of these ability or keywords. They could do expand on this a little bit, but I really like this because it's much more easier to understand what my unit can do. I've just look up, oh, sustained hits, oh, this unit have sustained hits, this unit have sustained hits. Yes, that's make it much easier in my opinion. One problem of 10th edition, a lot of people have this opinion, are the free war gear. It made balancing a little bit more hard. For example, the infantry troop, even in 10th edition, can have the sergeant can have an energy sword and a plasma pistol. And of course, you take the energy sword and the plasma pistol, because the other weapons are just weaker. And why you want to take a bolter pistol or a last pistol if you can have plasma pistol? And that should be better balanced. For example, the last pistol should have more shots. For example, should have 3-4 shots, and the bolt pistol 2 shots, a little bit stronger, a little bit more armor piercing. And if you take the plasma pistol, have 1 shot, then all the weapons have an use. They have to make a decision. Now you have the plasma pistol, only plasma pistol, not the plasma pistol. So with the melee weapon, the energy weapon could, for example, be the strongest, or with the most armor penetration, and the energy faust with the most strength, and the chain sword with the most attacks, or something like this. But no, that you just, if you can, you take the energy faust or the energy weapon. So that's make the balancing a little bit sad. Or for example, here in the Lehman Ross, you always take for your Lehman Ross the last gun in the front, because all other weapons are just weaker than the last gun. Only probably in some very, very, very rare circumstances, other weapons are better. And the points are even, in my opinion, was too cheap for 5 points to get the last gun, or for 5 points to get the Sponson with the heavy bolter. The point should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. But yes, at least they have to make a decision. Will I make one with cheap Russ without without extra weapons, or buy a more expensive Russ with more firepower? Both are probably could make at least now you just take the best equipment, and you don't see, for example, probably never would put a heavy bolter in this lot of last gun or a flamer. I did it for some tanks, but it's in my even now it's probably not the best decision. Yes. And another thing I really liked about this system, for example, if you have now 15 points less, if you build your list and have 50 points over, what you do with your 15 points, you buy a useless enhancement, and then you forget it in the game anyway. And you could, for example, put well, I buy 500 300 killer missiles for some of my units, for some tanks. Or yes, okay, I give him his plasma pistol. Yes, that's what made balancing much more easy, in my opinion, than if all war gear is free. Another points I really don't like are stratagems. We have 11 stratagems for all armies, and we have 6 per detachment. And in my opinion, that's too much, because if in the end, I think we have 22 armies in Warhammer 40k. We have 4 detachments per army. Some armies have even more detachments, and 6 stratagems, and then we end with over 500 stratagems. And the stratagems have this gotcha effect with you do something, the enemy can just use a stratagem, and then you are in trouble. You can go out of the fight, you think, well, this big tank is now locked in combat, can't shoot me well, then you use the stratagem and move out and shoot you, or your unit go out of melee and then shoot you and charge you again. Yes, that's... in my opinion, I would reduce the number of general stratagem, or make another way, make 20 general stratagems, and every army get 3 from the general pool. We have a lot of similar abilities, for example, something like fight on death, where you have, if the unit is destroyed, you can strike back. I think the world either have something like this, the Tyranny have something like this, some other armies can probably use something like this, or go out of combat and then charge. A lot of armies can use something like this. And for example, Custodes don't have grenades at the moment because they don't have the keyword, so they don't need the grenade stratagem. But Guard, for example, have the grenade stratagem. Guard have the take cover stratagem, and then every faction have 3 very, very special stratagems just for them. For example, Guard reinforcement, Guard field of fire, Guard this given order stratagem, or something like this. And I hope they will reduce the number of stratagems, because it's really hard if you play a game and you have to know which 8 or 6 stratagems the enemy army can have, and the enemy army can have 24 stratagems, because it depends which detachment they play. And if the enemy play, for example, Space Marines, he can play every detachment from the Space Marine armies. If it depends which Space Marine detachment he choose, of course, or which Space Marine army he choose. But that's something I really don't like with this much stratagems. Could be much, much, much less, in my opinion. Or remove the stratagems in general. Just give every army 4 or 6 abilities, and they can use 1 per turn. Okay, of course they have to be really strong, but give every army 3 abilities. They can use 1 per battle round, or something like this. Would like this more similar to the the mission cards. I don't like the mission cards too. I would prefer if every army have their own mission. But yes, okay, that's another topic. And last updates. Balance is very good at the moment. I heard some horror stories from past editions that there are 70 to 30% win rates for some armies. Or the best armies have 70% win rate. The worst was 13 or 30. Now it's much closer. And for example, even if the guard is at the moment is a little bit bad in some battles, some people are able to win tournaments with the guard, so they aren't that bad. Yes, for them this is very good. Things I don't like are unnecessary updates. For example, the pivoting rule for vehicles. Was this really necessary to change this now? Same, you bought a codex, and the codex is obsolete before the release or short after release. For example, I bought a Custodes codex, and I've the codex. I have an ability or one detachment where I can do something once per battle, and now I have to do it in every command phase. Yes, it was a buff for Custodes, probably a necessary buff for Custodes. But now my codex is in this case useless, and if I have a discussion with someone who's, oh, I don't understand your rule, show me your rule in your codex, that's the rule, but they changed the rule, so the codex is useless in my opinion, and that's a little bit sad. It could be think a little bit more before you release something. And unnecessary updates, for example, like the pivoted rule, they could make a note. It's like very intense in 11th edition. We changed this, or the update for born soldiers for the guard. I played one tournament event, one store event, and we have one guard player who don't know his army rule because the rule changed. And if you don't, I play a lot of games, so I have a lot of, and I look up a lot of rules. But if you play only one game a few months, I think you get what I mean. And every game is have other rules. It's a little bit, probably not the best way, because they look too much on the competitive scene or something like this. And if they want to be something like the esport game or something like this, they should do it like esport companies, make a beta phase for new rules, because they are not able to test everything. Imagine if you have 22 armies to test, play against 22 armies. You have a few, I think if you I calculated, you have few hundred games. And if every army has 4 detachments or 4 ways to play, for example, if you play guard, you can play only infantry, only a lot of artillery, you can play a lot of tanks, and then you can play with a lot of tempest scions. Every army can have at least 4 ways to play this, but most armies, Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines, have probably much more ways to play them. And then you have thousands of test games, and I understand why Games Workshop can't do this, but then they have to release, for example, the new or something like new beta rules, and give them the community. The community can test them, and that could be the competitive rules, and made another, and then change the rules, made an official rules change after they see how these rules work or something like this. But 2 rule sets would probably bad, and I don't really, but they may have to do some more community testing or beta testing if they can't do it itself, and they can't. I played a tournament. You can play 3 tournament games a day or something like this, and I don't see how you can make thousands of test games. It's just not possible. So, but yes, 10th edition makes a lot of things very good. Free rules was very good. List building was very good. Data sheets was very, very, very good. Weapons abilities, they should make more of this. Free war gear, a little bit bad, especially for balancing. Side jumps make the game more complicated, so not simple. And the updates are just for casual players, and even way too much, and some things are just unnecessary. For example, unnecessary the change for garden-born soldiers just mentioned, and it's just unnecessary because the codex at least in a few months anyway, so why change the rules now? And they can't use this as a kind of test because the codex must be printed now. So even if they want to change it, they couldn't change it anymore. So yes, but that's my things about my points about 10th edition. I hope you liked it. Bye bye.